welcome everybody to Going for Two. It's your boy here, and I have gone missing. Why is this? I should be somewhere in here. Where am I? Nope. We're going to cancel that. I don't think I invited myself in. How funny is that? That is incredibly embarrassing. This is incredibly embarrassing. How amateur is this? Oh my dear God. There we go. Your boy's here. It's your boy here, Dan at TheBLeague's. I have absolutely shuttered the mold on what is professional recording. I hope you're all well. I sure as shit am not. I actually had everything set on. I got in actually early. I put in different parts of the chat. Oh my God, I've lost everything. Wonderful. Good start to the day. It's your boy here, Dan at TheBLeague's, and I am going to go over with everybody here a weekly winners show. Now, a weekly winners show, effectively I'm on the clock. I'm going to pick Puka Nakua and I'm going to explain why, or Jameer Gibbs. Let's go Puka Nakua. I'll explain why in a moment. So essentially what we have here is a different way of drafting through Underdog Fantasy. This is obviously, you can go to underdogfantasy.com, promo code GF2 for 100% matching deposit up to $100. Nothing unnormal about that. You know the drill in regards to everything that we do here. I'm just getting myself off, just trying to find my bearings. This is absolutely bonkers. I have absolutely got everything wrong, and that's okay. We're on our way. We are drafting, I think. Oh, well, either way. So what Weekly Winners is with a draft. And again, I am Dan. I am at TheBLeague's. Welcome to the show. Basically, Weekly Winners is a different way of payout or playing best ball as it is. Underdog do a great job of providing different forms of gameplay, different tournament bases, different payout structures, different all things like that. And that's kind of cool, right? But what we have is it's almost like a DFS way of playing. And I'll explain why in a moment. I'm on the clock. I just got sniped. I was going to take Harrison there. What have we got? We are looking at, and I'll explain who I'm taking and why in a moment. We're going to take Sam Laporta in the second round. And that sounds, again, incredibly egregious for what I've been explaining over the past, I don't know, 3 or 4 months now, but it is what it is. Essentially, Weekly Winners is a weekly payout for your best ball tournament. So you're in a group, and normal best ball is if you're in a private league, you go to week 17, and whoever wins collects the pot. If you're in a tournament base, like Best Ball Mania, it's week 14. Thank you, Jamie. I'll get to that in a minute. You get to week 14 in the Best Ball Mania, then you go into the next group of 1 where you're up against 12 for a single week. Best ball, whoever wins goes to the next phase into week 17, or up until week 17, and then whoever wins collects the biggest part of the pot and goes from there. Weekly Winners is a different way of playing, and I feel like this is right up the alley for everyone that supports the GF2 Going for Two. I feel like we have an incredible supporter base for Dynasty. I think that goes without saying. I think equally, and you look at what Tim Gerson and Jeff have built over the past 5, 6, 7 years, our DFS following is massive too. And I feel like this format where it's a weekly payout to those per week, you're in the same group. So it's, your same group of 12, and whoever has this, I believe it's group of 12 or whatever it may be, whoever gets this gets the payout of such. And that's where you win in that regard. So you're not group of 12. It's almost like a big tournament for DFS every week, except instead of setting a lineup per week like you would with DFS or 150 per tournament, per whatever. You're selecting your best ball team, and that's it. So your team through your best ball draft is what you're going to go weekly, as it would be. That's why it's called weekly winners. Every week, someone gets the payout, and everyone else does. So in that regard, you're looking at an incredible payout structure for it. Where is the info button? Here we go. So first place every week gets 20K, second 10K, third place 5.5K, fourth place 4K, and so on, so on, and so on. So for a $10 entry, you can get your money back in regards to that per week if you make the top 500, which sounds pretty hard, but at this point, it's a very slow tournament. Not a lot of people have lined up. It's something for us to look forward to anyway. So again, weekly winners is a different way of building. And I feel like traditionally, like you look at certain tournaments where, and they're very great about how they go about Underdog, how they go, okay, well, here's a tournament and there's limited spots and it's $5 entry. Like say the puppy was $5 entry and it was gone within like a week. That was it. So they're pretty good at setting these lineups or these tournaments up for people to use. This one I feel like is a little bit different, and I'll explain why in a moment. I'm on the clock shortly. If Cooper Cup is there, we're going to go Cup, and I'll explain why. And if you already know why, everything that I've written down in our group Discord over at Going for Two, our free Discord, it's amazing because it's free. Our free Discord, it's free. It's over there, and I've explained everything about this format over there and about what teams I'm targeting and what players and why I'm going to take Cooper Cup in a moment. Again, I mentioned that this format feels very much like a way to break a DFS skill in terms of stacks and runbacks, and you can get those big stacks going in. So if there's a game that you like in, like, say week 1 of the season is the Rams versus the Lions, and that has the highest projected points total for the week, it's what they would call the chalk, right? Because everyone's going to get on Detroit, they're getting into the Lions, and they will run back maybe David Montgomery, who's going to be cheaper than Gibbs. He's probably cheaper than Kyron Williams. They're going to load up with either St. Brown, Williams, Laporta against Demarcus Robinson, Colby Parkinson, and whoever the fuck for the Rams. It doesn't really matter. Effectively, you're betting on that game to total everything else. Everyone's going to score. It's going to go well over 51, and you want to pocket as much points as possible and obviously help you progress. I feel like that idea is very pertinent for this format of best ball. And if I say to you, well, the Rams and Lions over the first month of the year, I've drawn the line at 46.5 for projected points totals for the season. If I say to you that the Rams and Lions are the only two teams that are going over 46.5 for the first 4 weeks of the year, and they play each other week 1, which means they're basically in massive scoring potential games. So I really want to get a piece of Lions and Rams in that in the 4th here. Seattle have a nice run in the first month too. I like the idea of going with DK Metcalf. We are going to do that as well. So I'll go over that in a minute. The team structure. I'm absolutely shaken from missing the start of the episode. I'm absolutely bummed out by that because I had everything written down and it's gone. I had to leave and whatever. But either way, so we are looking at a DFS format for building your best ball lineup, which I will say this now. The teams that I've built this way are either going to bomb egregiously, fine, and I apologize in advance, or they're going to win really well. And I feel like the way that we're going, I'm only selecting from maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 teams. I'm willing to reach because I'm going to waive ADP behind. I don't give a shit at this point about ADP because I'm taking the DFS approach. Normally you go by price point. That's what I'm doing here. So there's no price point effectively for this format because it's obviously it's a draft. It's not just picking blindly by 5K, 6K, 7K. I'm going to reach for players that I want. I'm going to ignore the traditional ethos of best ball and what we've been doing, and I'm going to go from there. So if I said to you, let's have a look here. If I said to you at this point, I had everything written down and everything is gone. Here we go. You can see it goes back to about the 28th of May. And again, so we're looking at teams that have gone over 46.5. We're looking at the Rams and the Lions in that period of time. They obviously play each other week 1. We're looking at different ways that we can go about that. Obviously, we're looking at them. We're looking at Baltimore, Kansas, Green Bay, Miami, Arizona, Buffalo, Houston, Indianapolis, San Fran, and Chicago. Now, I'm also going to avoid rookie quarterbacks as much as I can. So Chicago quarterback Caleb Williams is out. I'm going to stay the hell away from that because, one, I really don't like the running that they have, to be honest with you. But the teams that I do like, I like the Lions, Rams, Jacksonville, Kansas, and Miami. So we're narrowing it down to about 5 teams. Lions, first month of the year, they have the Rams, Tampa, Arizona, and Seattle. Big scoring games in there. Rams, obviously, they've got they play Detroit week 1, Arizona, San Fran, and Chicago. Jacksonville have Miami and Houston. Miami have obviously Jacksonville week 1, Buffalo and Seattle. Big scoring games potential in there. Kansas have Baltimore, Cincinnati, and Atlanta. So we can get a mix or a concoction of teams in that, and we're going to aim for that. So Giants plays, I love Malik Neighbors for us. I don't really want him. I'm not going to look for him. Giants have an absolutely terrible run throughout the year. Pittsburgh, they have a terrible schedule. I'm going to stay away from Pittsburgh because of that low scoring potential. I'm not even touching them. So Pickens, even though he might be a value, Harris could be a value. Maybe if I've got no one else around, I'm at that point where I just don't want to even go down that path at this moment. So we are looking like that. So obviously we've got late stacks and early stacks. I'm going to talk about that as we're going. Obviously, we're looking at how our team is going at this point. Where is this draft? Let's bring it up. So we're in the 5th round. Our team so far, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, DK Metcalf, Sam Laporta. Not a bad run-in. We're looking at players that we were speaking about before. So I was talking about, obviously, Lions, Rams, Jacksonville, Kansas, Miami. Anyone that's in that area. At this point with ADP, I am on the clock. Tank Dell is there in the 5th round. That is a nice play. Xavier Worthy's there too. I might be able to get him on the turn. Kyle Pitts isn't too bad with Atlanta. They've got a nice run to start with high-scoring potential games. I am going to run with Tank Dell. We're going to run with him. I have minimal Tank Dell, and I'm going to try and come around and either get Kittle or Pitts. San Fran actually have a nice run in as well. A lot of high-scoring games that are up our sleeve. San Fran, they actually look okay in that regard. Decent run in. So where are we looking at with that? So San Fran over that first month of the year. Tough start to the year, but you have a look at that. Through week 2, they have Minnesota 46.5. Week 3, they have the Rams at 48. And week 4, they have, where are we? I have missed them there. It doesn't really matter. So we're looking at San Fran. They've got 2 games with high scoring potential. I am on the clock. I believe. No, I'm not on the clock. That's tricky. My little tab up top. No good. So we're looking at probably Kittle here at this point. Or Worthy. Kittle or Worthy. Maybe come back and get Evan Ingram later. No, he's going way too early for me. So it's either Kittle or Ingram at this point. There goes Kyler Murray. He's gone to the Marvin Harrison person. Very good. Looking for that high scoring potential in this. We are going to take Evan Ingram. I'm taking Ingram over Kittle because this is the way that we're going. We're going to run with as many of these 5 to 6 teams that we were talking about before. So I'm going to go Ingram. So that's where we're at in terms of this format. Mate, I've seen your team from the last draft. We did that quick draft. I don't know about that. Thank you for Jeff for trying to run that slow draft. I think we're up to 8 people in there now. God damn. So maybe we might, look, if you want to go to our last live episode on Wednesday night that Jeff had, please, everyone, go over that and find the link for us. There's a slow draft going on, apparently. 4 spots left. The slowest build to anything. So we've got 2 tight ends. We've got 4 wide receivers at this point. I don't care. I don't need any more tight ends. I don't believe anyhow. I don't care for them. I don't need them. That's it. Again, I'm taking a different approach. Let's have a look at this team. Nacua, Kupp, Metcalf, Dell, Laporta, and Ingram. That's it. I don't need any more tight ends. I'm done with that. I'm happy with those 2. Some would say that's bully tight end with going that early. I don't care. I'm just going for this DFS approach, especially if Ingram's going early. He might have been gone in the second round. 7th round, sorry. I don't need to look at that ever again. I'm done, and I can load up on guys elsewhere. I'm really trying to get guys from the Rams, Lions, Kansas. Who did I mention before? Where are we? Jacksonville, Kansas, and Miami. So these are the guys that we're running with, and that's it. We're going to go for a DFS approach. We're just kind of trying to build up as many stacks as we can from these minimal teams to hope that they just take off that week. I'm betting on the Rams from weeks 1 to 4, and if that happens to carry over through the rest of the year, that's it. Fantastic. That's all I'm trying to do. So instead of trying to go, oh well, I'm going to play the aggregate and try and get something that happens between now. No, I don't care about week 17 at this point. I'm trying to get those teams per week that are going to blow up. That is going to be the Rams at this point. I feel like I've calmed down now. Time for a coffee, no problem. Pardon me. What an absolute shit start to the show as well. My God, I am absolutely sorry about that. Let's get out of here. Anyone that tells you a Mac is a good computer, I'm not even a tech guy. But my God, I have absolutely bombed the start of this show. I have to talk to Jeff about it. I'm absolutely sorry about that. But there we go. So like Raheem Mostert, Miami is one of those 5 teams that I'm looking at. Mostert would be a great way to get started, I think. So if Mostert's there, that's what we're going to do. We're looking at those other teams as well. So where are we? Goff's in there. Tua's in there. Lawrence is in there. Stafford's in there. So we're looking at 4 or 5 quarterbacks in that range. Mayfield's in there. I spoke about the Bucs as well. They have a nice run in too. So, and again, if I'm betting on Matt Stafford and Jared Goff, Tampa and Seattle, they're teams that kind of pop up in that period of time. Geno and Baker Mayfield are guys that I want to rely on as well because, hey, they could be guys that do well against those teams in those high-scoring games. Again, there's nothing weird about going, okay, well, the Rams play the Bucs, and we're going to go Puka Nacua at wide receiver with, Mostert. Okay, let's go with him. We're going to go Nacua, DeMarcus Robinson, and Colby Parkinson against Mike Evans and Rashad White. We're going to bet on, say, Mayfield because he's about $1,500 cheaper than Stafford. That would be a DFS mindset. I'm not even going to lie to you, Jamie. I didn't do it. I don't know how that popped up. I don't know who did it. It was just there when I logged in. I have no idea. I think Jeff is sick of seeing the name title up there, and he went and did it himself because he knew I was going to record over the next day or two, and he misspelled it. I'm going to blame Jeff outright. That's where I'm at. I don't know what to tell you. BestBal. That's what we're doing. BestBal. Anyway, I'm on the clock in about 2 or 3 picks time. We've gone Mostert as our lead running back. Arizona's a team that obviously we spoke about before. Jameson Williams is a guy that I want to lean on. Brian Thomas. So we've got a nice little collection of players in here that we're looking at. Now, obviously, Jameson Williams, we want to run with Goff because we've got that nice start to the year. So Jameson Williams is the guy that I'm going to target here with Sam Laporta. If not, we've got James Conner in there, and we are going to say goodbye to that. We are going to run with Jameson Williams. So, again, how it's been for those who have just joined in or those who are listening, sorry to sound a little scattered. It is what it is. But we are trying to take a DFS approach into our Best Ball Weekly Winners League. I have spoken about this ad nauseum in our Discord. Please head over there. It's free. Find us over there. If not, you can run this episode back when you're on the clock next. Over on our YouTube, you can hit the alerts, whatever. This show runs bi-weekly, give or take, which is fantastic for me. But when the season starts, it'll be all prop-based. So we've only got maybe 5 or 6 episodes left of Best Ball. This is just another way of going about it, a different format, which is great because now I can show you guys a little different side of playing Best Ball. It's not just, weeks 1 to 17 or whatever. This is really a nice way of playing it because, there's weekly payouts to those. And you know what? That's great because if you load up on these and you get a weekly payout, say you come in, say you pick on the Rams and Lions that week 1 and instead of just taking ADP and these guys blow up and you make $500 out of the weekly, that bankrolls the rest of your, the next couple of weeks of your betting, right? So that's a good thing. So we have something here that can help us pay out and keep playing through the year over at Underdog Fantasy. Promo code GF2 for 100% matching deposit up to $100. Thanks for coming. That's promo number 3 for the company. No worries. Smooth. Anyway, I do like how this is going. And again, the team that we're going to be on the clock very shortly. The team that we're running with so far, Raheem Mostert is our first running back off the clock. Nacua, Cup, Metcalf, Dell, Williams, Laporta, and Ingram. Now, I have seen copious amounts of episodes lately, articles lately that are saying you need to go get your 5 or 6 receivers before the 7th or 8th round. in general, best ball, I believe that is probably the case. But in this format, I think we can get away with not having to take that approach because we're trying to do something different. And again, we're trying to keep to the same 5, 6, 7 teams, and I don't believe we have gone away from them so far. No. Probably the team that I've gone the most furthest away from at the moment is Tank Dell with Houston. So that's basically as far out as I've gone from the 5 or 6 teams that I wanted. But we've stuck to the Rams, we've stuck to the Lions, we've stuck to the Dolphins, we've stuck to the Jags. No Kansas in there yet, but obviously they got a couple guys like, hey, listen, Justin Watson in the 18th round. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, you can run those guys back, 17, 18, get a piece of the Kansas offense. They're going to have those spike weeks, and we want those teams that score high-scoring points every week. Those are the guys that we're going to kind of work on and work with. Again, that might be the difference. Hey, listen, I could go get Dylan Moore in the 18th or Hilaire. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to take the guys that we want to work with on those 5 or 6 teams and go from that. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to pop up in the chat. If I haven't explained something properly, please, by all means, fire them away because we had a rough start to the episode. We are on the clock next, and I'm looking at these players that we're looking for. Jared Goff is there. We're going to take him. That's not even a no-brainer. And listen, if I can go with Tua next, maybe I'll go Tua. And look, late round stacks. We're going to talk about some early stacks, late stacks as well that can work with this. Again, from those first 5 or 6 teams, you're looking at Kansas. It's Mahomes if you can get it. Kelsey into Mahomes into Pacheco. That's very tough to do because obviously you've got to really hope someone falls and the draft falls your way in that regard, but very hard to do. You're looking at an early stack would be Harrison into McBride into Kyler Murray, which would be very, very dangerous. And you can obviously tee up with Trey Benson later after the 10th round. That's an interesting way to do it. Look, they've got guys like Zay Jones. Zay Jones, one of those guys that I'm going to look at. Obviously, we're looking at Cardinals players later as well because they pop up against those 5 teams that I was talking about before a few times. Zay Jones, last year he was on track for 120 targets. The year before, 120 targets with the Jags. So really, this is a guy that's commanding 6, 7 targets a game. And you look at that Cardinals offense, really it's very wide open after Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison. It's really out there. So a guy like him who can be moved all over the place, plays in the slot as well, veteran presence inside a very young wide receiver group, that's a great landing spot. It almost reminds me of like when Emmanuel Sanders went to Buffalo. And everyone's like, Sanders in Buffalo, who cares? But Sanders in Buffalo was literally pumping. It was a PPR machine at one point. So, guys like that are interesting to look at. Obviously, you can get him in the Zay Jones 16th round. And you can get him there too. So, again, another early stack with those teams. Obviously, you can get Waddle and Hill, take them into someone like Tua Tagovailoa. That's fantastic. Miami's players, they can swing too. So, a guy like Jalen Wright in the Tagovailoa, Odell Beckham and Jonnu Smith, that's a nice way to get a high-scoring team late, pieces of the puzzle. Having a look on the clock as we are here. Blake Corum is there. That's an interesting name. I don't really like running a backup running back in that regard, but you know what? Let's get weird. So this is probably the first mistake that I've made. Blake Corum here in the 10th or 11th round, the 10th round. Obviously, it's my second running back. And again, I'm betting on maybe Kyron Williams isn't great to start the season. I actually have 0 Blake Corum, I think, across the season. Maybe I had him a lot in pre-draft or a bit in pre-draft, but absolutely none post-draft because I feel like the backup running back to whoever's starting for the Rams is just egregious. I've been over that before. I think I went over that last time we did this episode. But, again, predicting and projecting injuries now, it kind of seems stupid. But Vay's generally reliable when it comes to coach speak. He obviously says, this guy does this guy does that. If they're saying that Kyron Williams is going to be fine before the season, I tend to trust that. But again, I'm trying to get pieces of offense. I might say, again, I'm willing to score shit in the idea that when I do score, it's going to blow up. And that's the whole point. So I'm either going to score really, really well or nothing. And that's kind of what I want out of this team because I want that DFS approach. This whole squad's going to blow up because I've picked players from these 5 or 6 teams only. I'm not going to waste time in guessing, is it Eckler or Robinson? No, I'm just going to stick to Corum. That's it. If you're a fantasy football team, could be managed by any fictional character, who would you choose? Any fictional character. I feel like the sort of person that is just dumb as shit but backs in the good luck is someone like Patrick Starfish. I feel like he's the guy that could, the guy that will select a kicker in the 5th round and yet win the league. That would be me. I would pick Patrick Starfish, Jamie. That's the guy that I'm going with. Anyways, we're going to be on the clock very, very shortly. I hope someone like Trevor Lawrence falls. Trevor Lawrence is probably my most rostered quarterback so far this year. Lawrence has been ridiculously undervalued. And look, the best thing about this, his division got so much better this year. You look at the Titans, they look like they could do some damage. The Colts, if Richardson's healthy, they could do some damage. Houston do damage. Jacksonville could well be, it sounds weird to say, Jacksonville could be the worst team in that division. They've got a pretty good team. Jacksonville could be the worst team in that division. Trevor Lawrence just went, crap. That doesn't matter. We're going to be on the clock very, very soon anyway. And again, I'm looking at teams. As I said, Jacksonville could be the worst team in that division. Jacksonville could be playing from behind a lot. Those games, and there's no surprise where those games are projected to go high. Jacksonville versus Houston should go high. Jacksonville versus Indianapolis should go high. It really should be something that works in your favor, picking those guys. Anyway, I'm looking at players who are in our realm. Okay, Davis is there. Tagovailoa is still there. I want to get a second quarterback and call it a day. If not, Matthew Stafford's coming up. If not, we're going to reach. We're up next. Who are we on? Cincinnati have a decent run in. They pop up 3 or 4 times. We're looking at Chase Brown. He's going to be the next guy. I really wish it was Jerome Ford. I have so much Jerome Ford this year. It's scary. We're going to go Chase Brown. That's our 3rd running back. But where's the fun in that? Where is the going the opposite direction by taking Tony Stark? Iron Man. Because that dude's, I understand he's smart as shit, but Jamie, you're smart as shit. When it comes to fantasy football, you know what you're doing. What do you need Tony Stark for to manage a team? You don't need that. Go get Patrick Starfish to fluke his way to at least the playoffs. I trust that. Let's have a look here. And again, so we're really going with an odd way of this. I'm going to go Matthew Stafford next. I'm going to reach for Matt Stafford. I should go Jalen Wright. I'm not going to do that because I hate myself. I'm going to pick the worst possible team possible and go from there. But again, we're running with Goff. We're running with Stafford. They're going to be the quarterbacks I lean into. And again, for this idea of a DFS approach, we've got teams in Detroit, the Rams, Kansas, Jacksonville, and Miami who project over that 46.5 threshold a fair bit. That's what we're going to do. So Matt Stafford's going to be the guy that I take next. Whether I take another quarterback again, I 100% doubt it. I really doubt it, to be honest with you. Stafford it is. Let's move on. So I've got 2 quarterbacks. I'm not going to go any further with that. So we've got Stafford and we have Goff, and that's fine. And again, I can go get Colby Parkinson. I can get DeMarcus Robinson. I can go get Tutu Atwell, who had a few streaky games last year. I can go do that. That's fine. No, I'll reach for them. I don't care. The ADP is not something that I care about this week with this sort of format. And again, this is probably Jeff in his home shaking his fist going, Dan, I'm paying you to win. No, I don't care. I don't care. It's just this weekly winners format is going to be something a little bit different to our traditional best ball structure. And that's why we're going to reach for players, certain teams only. We're really, and again, we've got Rams, Lions, again, outside of, really, we've got Chase Brown, Tank Dell. And if you want to, they're really the 2 players outside of the realm that we're looking at. Otherwise, we've really struck the idea and stayed with what we were talking about before. And again, all I need is the Rams to blow up, and I've got 4 or 5 pieces. They're playing against the same sort of teams. That's it. I'm trying to game theory and max stack high-scoring teams. I know that sounds crazy, but, again, I could go get Devin Singletary, who might have 12 for 50 on the ground, and then he might go 3 for 25 and a touchdown, and he might get 13 points max. Or I could go get Blake Corum, who could walk into Kyron Williams' role, and that's what I need to happen at this point. Terrible team so far. Again, if you looked at this team from the outside and said, what have you done, Dan? The answer is very simple. I don't know, but that's not the point. We're going to be on the clock very, very shortly. The way we are looking players in these teams that we're looking at, Jalen Wright's still there. We're going to look at him if he falls. Probably not. He should go before I even get close. Who else are we looking at here? Ty Chandler, Minnesota, pop up a fair bit. We can almost swing this way too. I don't need more tight ends. Baker Mayfield can go. Ray Davis, Buffalo, pop up a little bit as well. And there's a bunch of terrible players. Rashad Bateman. If anyone's on this Rashad Bateman bandwagon again, I have nothing to say to you. You want to go down that path? You want to get on the Rashad Bateman bandwagon? Oh, I can't do it. What's this year? I don't even know what year he's in. Year 4? That 3 for 37 is going to light your week on fire. That's what I'll tell you. Okay, Jalen Wright, we got to win out of that. Okay, very good. So we waited. Jalen Wright fell. A couple of Miami running backs in there. Really not looking good for week 6. That my team is going to be shocking. And again, I don't care about how it looks over the week, how it looks over the rest of the season. Like 17 weeks, I don't care about. I don't care how many points I score over the season. I care about that single week. So if week 6 I bomb, but week 7 I've got everyone available while everyone else is like scattered with it. That's not my problem. I'm looking at scoring big every week with high scoring teams. I don't care if they have the bye week and all. I really don't care. Interesting way to do it, I know, and I'm sorry. Let's just get weird. It's all good. Coffee should be a bit better. I'm going to be on the clock. Surely I'm going to be on. Why did the Scarecrow become a great fantasy football player? Because he was outstanding in his field. Jamie's on the Sunday bevies. Very good. Oh, boy. What on, Jamie? That's terrible. That is terrible. That is so bad. I'm so happy. We're up in 2 picks. Again, Marshall and Lloyd's a guy. Green Bay pop up a little bit as well. But really, Ray Davis is probably the guy I need to take if I'm sticking true. So, bye week 12. Okay, so we've got a guy that doesn't have a bye week in week 6 in the running back. Ray Davis it is. Let's get weird. Let's get weird. Ray Davis, it's in. Week 6 running backs on the bye. Mostert, Corum, Wright. That's okay. I only need to win 1 week. That's it. I only need 1 week. That's what we're backing on. So we're going to get a little bit weird. We've got, 5 rounds to go? 15, 16, 17. 4 rounds to go. All right. So let's have a look at who we can go and get. Ronnie Rivers? Let's go get Ronnie Rivers. Joking. Pierce is a guy at running back. Bigsby, Edwards-Helaire. Guys like this that we can go and line up with. Wide receiver. Where are we? Michael Wilson? Maybe. Zay Jones? Probably. Robinson? We can do this too. Odell Beckham? That's probably where I'm drawing the line. It's so hard not to draft Darius Slayton as well. Just draft him everywhere. Tight end, do I want to get weird at tight end? Johnny Smith, let's add him in anyway. Jaceki, let's add him in anyway. Colby Parkinson. What's the other guy for the Rams? Mitchell. What's the backup tight end? James Mitchell. Let's add him in. Again, in a DFS lineup, that guy might be paying $2,500, but listen, something happens to Laporta. No one's going to have James Mitchell. No one. No one's going to have James Mitchell. James Mitchell can come in, step in, and do something decent. That's what we're trying to do. Let's scroll this down because I can't see where we're up to. Four rounds to go. Done at quarterback, so we're going to grab a couple of receivers, maybe a tight end and running back and call it a day. And again, this is not a very pretty team. And I really need to say that again. This isn't about totality. This is not about weeks 1 through to 17. This is just about week 1 by itself, week 2 by itself. I'm trying to win per week, and I'm trying to stick with the same players from the same teams as I can. If I score nothing that week, I don't care. Next week, they might have a better matchup. These teams that I've looked at, they're all projected higher than 46.5 on any given week. Rams and Lions for the first month of the year, the only team that got 4-0. Favorites in their games as well, so I like that outcome for them. 4 rounds to go, a bit of dead air. After the shaky start we had to start the broadcast, that was not great. Zay Jones will be the next guy up our sleeves. Oh, we just went. Oh, you prick. I got sniped for Zay Jones. DeMarcus Robertson it is. Imagine walking away going, man, I just got sniped on Zay Jones in the 15th round and it just ruined my weekend. That's my weekend. God damn. Sums it up. Unbelievable. I got sniped for Zay Jones. And again, that's another piece of the Rams offense. Look, we've got Nakua, Cup, and DeMarcus Robinson. A couple names are familiar in here. Really backing them. Really backing the Rams. Rams versus Arizona. 60 points. Let's go. They all score touchdowns. That's what we're doing on my, what do they call it? Projecting that sort of shit. That's what we're doing. Damian Pierce, Jono Smith. Could be interesting. We need a better running back in there. Let's go Damian Pierce. Everyone hates Damian Pierce. I told you he was going to bomb. Okay, great. I got injured. Devin Singletary. There's no difference. Why did the fantasy football manager bring a ladder to the draft? I don't know. They needed to reach for their players. Fair. You could do worse, though. See how bad of a joke you can come up, Jamie. You've got 2 more rounds to go, mate. Let's see how bad it can get. I want to see the world's worst joke from Jamie right now. It is what it is, though. Here we are. So we've got 2 rounds to go. Again, this is a weekly winners format. Again, first place that week pockets 20K. It goes all the way back down. So the top prize is 20K per week. It's just a single week into the single week. There's nothing total about it. So I don't care about how much points I can score between weeks 1 to 14. And if I can progress my group into the tournament phase, it's none of that. I don't care about the best squad possible for week 1 through 17. I don't care about ADP. I'm looking at players that play on high-scoring teams with a nice schedule to start with, and I'm trying to stack as many of them into teams or other players that play for teams with an equally nice schedule and high-scoring options as well. That's what we're looking at here. So a little bit different in our strategy going forward. It's only taken 38 minutes for me to describe what I'm doing better. Unbelievable. Good start to the show, Dan. Very good. Well, it's okay. We're about to end it. So but we're 38 minutes in. So just one more time before we come back around. As always, going for 2 live. This is the place to be. YouTube. Hit the alerts. Hit the alert. The little jingle bell fella. That little jingle bell fella. Give it a little flick. Give the little jingle bell a little flick. Find out when your favorite shows are on. Hit those alerts. Find us anywhere. As always, head over to our Discord. It's free. It's a fantastic place to be. All the Scott Fishbowl box. We're doing a bunch of them over there. Always a fun way to go. We got shows pretty much, I think, every day of the week going forward. And that's fantastic too. So we're always going live and going to live. As always, underdogfantasy.com, promo code GF2 for 100% match your deposit up to $100. We can get shows like this, live drafts, all that based on Underdog as well. I will do a prop show during the season. Underdog props. It's going to be fantastic. Best ball, the BestBal's best. Was it? Is the BestBal's best ball show? yeah, that'll be the B-League's pickups show. I forget the name of my show. How embarrassing. I'm absolutely shook. That's okay. We've got 2 rounds to go. We're going to wrap this up very, very shortly, I hope. Geno Smith's there. I have no problems going Jono Smith. We're trying to get a few more Miami players. That'd be cool too. Jono Smith's a guy. Tank Bigsby's a guy. Mike Gesicki's a guy. What other receivers have we got? I don't really need another receiver. I feel pretty good about the ones I have. Nakua, Cup, Metcalf, Dell, Williams, and Robertson. I feel okay about that. I really wish I could get another one in there. But again, Parkinson, James Mitchell, Jono Smith. Maybe Clyde Edwards-Helaire. That might be someone we go with. Yeah, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I'm not going to go Malik Washington. After Odell Beckham, just I don't care. I will take Beckham every day. Oh, he's already gone. Oh, I've been slided. Oh my god. Tank Bigsby's the best I can do? I don't think so. Yeah, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Let's get a piece of that Kansas running back room. I'm going to come back around. See you later, Tank Bigsby. Either Parkinson or Mitchell. That's what we're going to do. To get weird, I really think I should go James Mitchell. Colby Parkinson. I think I'm going to go James Mitchell. That's what we're going to do. No one's going to, unless someone's like listening to this and going, you know what, I'm going to get him in the next 5 picks, which would be a dick move just quietly. Let's have a look, Jamie. Let's see how bad you can get. Why did the fantasy football team learn the Heimlich maneuver? Oh, God. Because they kept choking in the playoffs. Yeah. That's bad. That's a terrible one, Jamie. You've done well there, mate. Thank you for joining me, buddy. Yeah, one more pick to go. We are going to take James Mitchell. Because, again, we're taking that DFS approach. We're trying to get guys with minimal rostership as well on the end of our roster here. And again, the whole point, I'm just trying to get a weird lineup in there, backing on a few teams. I'm really not trying to go. I mean, getting someone like Theo Johnson from the Giants, like that to me is a pretty cool pick right now because you don't know what's going to happen with Darren Waller. He hasn't yet retired. I feel like that's coming June 11th. There was something Art Stapleton put out about the finances with that sort of thing. So if you want to look at it like that, Theo Johnson's a guy that you could go and get and arguably roster or draft in these because he's as good as Dan Bellinger is at this point. We're going to go James Mitchell. Let's get weird. And again, it's one of those things that, yeah, okay, in the 18th round, it's a tight end. That could be something that could happen. He could have a Luke Musgrave sort of a season, which would surprise me at this point. And he's costing you nothing to get that production, which would be great. I could go do that, but I'm really trying to keep to those 4 or 5 teams, Lions, Rams, Kansas, Jacksonville, and Miami. I'm trying to get as many of those guys from those teams in high-scoring games as I can with a nice schedule to open up with. So that's what we're really looking at. Again, the team that I have so far before I basically run away from this, Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford at quarterback, Raheem Mostert at running back, Blake Corum, Chase Brown, Jalen Wright, Ray Davis, Damian Pierce, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Going deep at running back, there's maybe 6 in there. I never go more than 5 to 6 max. Wide receiver. Again, this is really close to just basically being the Rams. Nakua, Cup, and DeMarcus Robinson with Metcalf, Dell, Jameson, Williams in there. Week 6 is going to be a shocker. I hope that no one gets injured. And tight end, I've got Laporta, Ingram, and James Mitchell. Again, a little bit of a different approach to general best ball drafting. I can't stress that enough. This isn't how I would normally do things, but with this tournament, with weekly winners, I'm taking the DFS approach of saying, okay, this team versus this team, or this team and this players, and these schedule. Look, Rams play Lions week 1. I have maybe 6 or 7 guys. You want to have a look at this squad. Where are we? Rams, Lions, week 1 in a dome. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players from that matchup that could do okay. And that's what we're looking for. Weekly average projection, 148, 158. I could give a shit. I'm really looking at what these guys can give me in that 1 week. And listen, we're backing those guys to do well. Mostert might not do anything. But hey, if Coram plays something, Jalen Wright chips in, that could be something. Rams take off, Jameson Williams and Laporta with Mitchell, that could be something. And again, I'm trying to find a way to get a different roster out there that somebody might not have that could differentiate me and everyone else per week. Now, again, those bye weeks are gonna suck. Just quietly, that's fine. But at the same time, we're trying to find a different way to go about it as well. So I hope that this has been a bit of a different episode for you, because look, next week we're probably going to do, the next 2 weeks, wherever we are, I'm probably going to do a quick draft, $3, $5 quick draft, and just do the same thing. But at least this way now you know about a different tournament. You know about a different approach and different ways to get there. And that's what we're trying to do. You're trying to get a little bit different in regards to how we go about building a squad under a lineup and all that sort of stuff. I am Dan. I am at TheBLeague's most of the time. Find me on Discord or Twitter, X, whatever the fuck it is. As always, go to underdogfantasy.com, promo code GF2 for 100% matching deposit up to $100. Find us over on Discord. It's free. It's got fishbowl mocks are happening all the time. Best ball info is dropping all the time. Incredible analysts answering your dynasty questions all the time. That's what we're here for. Just tag Gladys. She loves it. Why don't skeletons play fantasy football? Because I don't have the guts for it. Thank you, Jamie. That's a good one to end up with. Very good. And you can go do that. As always, find us on YouTube. Subscribe. Hit the alerts, as always. I don't believe that. Browns have good connections, mate. I wouldn't worry about that. And we can go from there. So that's what we're doing. So, again, thank you for joining me this week. I hope you try weekly winners. It's a $10 entry, $20,000 payout per week, or for the winner, and then it comes all the way back down. Couple $100 here or there sprinkled in. Maybe you win your money back. And listen, if you do well, bankrolls the rest of your season, which is what you really want out of that too, right? So that's what we use the tournament money for. Bankrolls everything else. Get back in those cash games and double out. Anyways, as always, I'm Dan. I'm at TheBLeague's. Thank you for staying with me. 47 minutes. It's the quickest draft I think I've ever done. Thanks for joining me.